This is Christy Talbot. You may or may not know I am a tarot card reader, and I've been doing that for a while, but I'm also a numerologist, and that's something that I've really only recently incorporated into my business. The past couple of months, I've been doing numerology readings for my clients, and in doing so, I've gotten lots and lots of inquiries from people who are really curious about numerology, interested in it, but don't know a whole lot about it or don't know kind of what the philosophy behind the system is. So I thought I would do a quick YouTube video just to give people a little bit of background information so that they can decide for themselves and make a more informed decision as to whether or not numerology or a numerology reading might be something that would be helpful to them. Because what numerology really is, fundamentally or at its core, is a self-help tool. It's a way of uncovering information about yourself that increases your self-awareness, your understanding of yourself as a person, as well as your kind of place in the bigger picture or your role in the world. And so, what is numerology based on? Well, it's rooted in numbers, with the idea being that every number has its own energy pattern or its own unique vibration, and that vibration connects to a human archetype. With the cardinal numbers, which are the numbers 1 through 9, each representing a very specific archetype, that if we look at them collectively as a group, all 9 numbers, that we will get the full spectrum of all possible human characteristics and human traits. We will also get all possible human experiences, so that the numbers 1 through 9 represent 9 specific stages in human development, starting with birth through maturity to death, and represent any possible experience that a person could have. So the idea is that we also each, as individuals, have a numerological profile that's based on 2 things. It's based on our date of birth and also our birth name, which I know a name is numbers, it's letters, but numerologists connect every letter in the alphabet to a number based on its position in the alphabet. I'll get into that a little bit more later. But so your numerological profile is based on date of birth and the numbers that correspond to the letters in your full birth name. And that we slice and dice those numbers in a whole variety of ways that give us information about you as a person, because each of those numbers in your profile connects to certain archetypal patterns. And so we can figure out who you are as an individual, and then we can also look at the experiences that you are likely to encounter over the course of your lifetime. So I'm going to start with the birth date. Just like in astrology, in numerology, the birth date is something that is extremely important and significant. It's, not something that is considered to be random, but that there's meaning behind the time or the date that you were born, that it's not an accident. And so that if we look at the numbers related to your birthday, the month, the day, and the year, and again, we slice and dice them in a couple of different ways, that give us information about the type of life experiences that you're likely to have. The birth date speaks to kind of archetypal patterns that are more experiential. So not as much about you as a person. These are more kind of external energies to you. And it kind of provides like a roadmap or a blueprint for your life. And again, the types of experiences that you're likely to have at specific times. We can, pinpoint certain points in your life and the types of opportunities and challenges that are likely to come up for you during that time. The other thing that we get from the birth date, which I actually think is one of the most beneficial aspects of a numerology reading, is getting information about your life purpose. So numerology is based on the idea of reincarnation. And so, the idea that we are each spiritual beings who are incarnating, time and time again on Earth, each time with a very specific spiritual objective in mind, or a specific lesson that we are here to master. And that if we master that lesson in that lifetime, that our soul sort of advances to the next level of awareness, and that we continue to hopefully do that and evolve until we reach enlightenment. Now, do you have to believe in reincarnation in order to benefit from numerology reading? No, not at all. I get tons and tons of people coming into my reading space wanting tarot readings on their life purpose. They feel lost. They've, don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're here for, and they want direction. They want purpose. They want to understand what they are meant to accomplish in this life. They don't necessarily believe in reincarnation, but they do believe that we are all here to fulfill some specific purpose or some specific role. And so I think if you believe that, whether or not you believe in reincarnation doesn't matter. If you believe that, every soul or every person is here for some specific purpose, then you can absolutely benefit from a numerology reading. And in fact, I think that is one of the ways that you can benefit most from a reading, because the birth date will give us insight into what your purpose is during this lifetime, what lesson you are meant to learn over the course of this lifetime. So that's the birth date. Then the other source of information is from your full name at birth. So that is the name that appears on your birth certificate. And sometimes people have a little bit of a harder time with this part of a numerological chart. I think most people kind of, because of astrology and the popularity of astrology, maybe you're okay or feel comfortable accepting that, okay, well, maybe the time that we're born does have some kind of significance and it's not random or whatever. But a birth name, a lot of times, is what people will question. Like, well, what does the name that my parents gave me have any kind of, what does that have to do with who I am as a person? Like, it's totally random. And numerologists believe it's not random at all. Looking back over the course of history and the development of language, language evolved because people would, put sounds to what they intuitively understood the essence of something to be. So that when they put a name or they put words into place, that they did so with an intuitive understanding of what they were naming, and that those sounds symbolically represented the same thing. Because just like time is, it's rooted in universal order, so too is sound. Sound is rooted in universal order too, and and every sound carries with it an energetic vibration and a pattern, and that we sort of intuitively resonate with. Think about when you listen to music, or even hear sounds in nature, that we're not, we sort of have sort of a gut feeling about. And so the idea is that in the development of language, we took that gut kind of connection with sound, and we're tying it to our gut understanding of the thing that we are naming. Okay? I don't know if that makes sense. But it's not random. And the idea is that a parent is connected to their child spiritually, and understands on some gut level kind of what the essence is of the child that they're bringing into this world, and they name them accordingly. And so the letters in the name and the numbers that they correspond to are significant. And there's, again, ways we slice and dice them and look at them to get a sense of, who you are as an individual. So the archetypal patterns that connect to the numbers in your name tell us a great deal about who you are as a person, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what your personality is like, what types of things you might like, what types of things you might not like. And so then we look at the chart as a whole. We look at the external and the internal, and we can get a real good sense of what your life is likely to be like. And we can really help you because we can identify patterns in those numbers and potential energies that maybe are conflicting or difficulties that you might have, and we can talk you through them. And we can identify kind of times in your life where certain types of opportunities are likely to come your way. And if we make you aware of that, then you can be more likely to take advantage of those opportunities. If we also give you a heads up about some challenges that might come up for you, you can sort of, plan ahead for how you might handle them or how you might deal with them. So this information is very useful in terms of making you better prepared for life, and helping you to live in a more conscious way. So I hope that helps. I know it can be a little bit confusing, particularly the part about the birth name. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email address is tarotgirlnextdoor@gmail.com. I'll post it in the comments with the video. And if you have any specific questions about numerology, please ask me them and I'm happy to post a video response. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Okay, I hope you have a good evening and thank you for watching.